Well, we're back with the live morning show, and we have our guest host this morning, affectionately known as Chief Keith.
Chief Keith, yes.
That's what, on Facebook, that's his name, Chief Keith.
But he is Chief Keith Harris.
Yep,
That's
Keith
it.
Harris. He'll have his name on the bottom of the screen, but most of you know him through Facebook and his fight. This is not your first rodeo on this fight, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
This has been going on.
We went through it for Rochelle Smontoni and a lot of things that
Yes.
in the audit.
Yes.
That Beth Wood, that was the first, I guess, one of many fights. But he is fighting for the people. And Keith, just to open it up for us, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what qualifies you into this role as fighting for the people.
Okay, well, as you said, I am Keith Harris. I'm the former fire chief in Rocky Mount. I retired back in 2010. I served 32 years with the city. During that time, I served in a lot of different roles and responsibilities, and so it provided me a great deal of opportunity to prepare me for something to this magnitude. And something I think very relative to this particular financial situation that Rocky Mount has, financial crisis, I think is the word they're using. In '99, after Hurricane Floyd, Mayor Turnage at that time,
Yes.
Steve Raper, the city manager, and assistant city manager Charles Penny came to me and asked if I would head up the flood recovery program. And I'll explain why that's so relevant to what's going on. As y'all know, Hurricane Floyd was devastating.
Absolutely.
25% of the city was underwater. 4,000 houses were wiped out. Thousands more left uninhabitable. We were in a mess, and a lot of infrastructure, the water plant at Sunset, multiple sewer, lift stations, electrical substations, so on and so forth. Terrible storm, and this was going to be a massive FEMA recovery program. What we didn't know at the time, it turned out to be the largest flood relocation program in the history of the United States. And I was asked to manage that, which I took on that responsibility. Little did I know, it took 4 years of very hard work and an amazing team. But all total, we managed over 130 million of federal and state grants, both. And we went through multiple audits, state, also the Inspector General's office with the federal government, and we got raving reviews. Not one problem, and even to this day, that flood recovery effort with me at the head, and then this the team that worked with me, the great folks that worked with me in flood recovery, we're still held up as an example in this country of how to run disaster recovery. And since then, I've been dispatched to the Katrina storm to teach New Orleans and Alabama and Georgia how to get organized and recovered. I've been out west to North Carolina mountains to help communities get organized for flood recovery, and many other storms since that event. So don't tell me I don't understand the budgeting process. Don't tell me I don't understand capital improvements. I was a fire chief. We build stations. We have to buy equipment. That's capital. Don't tell me I don't understand grants. I'm a grant writer. I'm a grant manager. And I'm the recipient of a number of city grants with the fire department, concerning the fire department. So
Right.
a lot of experience in that regard. Hopefully today we're going to have time. I'm going to be able to touch on some thoughts, feelings that I have, and I think that they are very relevant to the situation Rocky Mount's in, and that pertains to one nonprofit in particular in this city that seems to have a stranglehold on the city of Rocky Mount. And what qualifies me to talk about nonprofits is a number of things. For one, I served on the executive board with the Tar River Region United Way. I led the campaign for the United Way in 2000, so that was a year right after the flood.
Right.
And so it was a very challenging year, but we met our goals, and we were able to fund a lot of different entities throughout the Tar River region to help people, and particularly in flood recovery, disaster recovery. So I've had that experience in United Way. I served on the executive board with the American Red Cross. I was recognized as the hero for the Twin Counties by the American Red Cross. After I retired, the Red Cross came to me and said, "We want you to be the North Carolina State Recovery Manager for the American Red Cross." And that was because we had Hurricane Irene that did a lot of damage down from Little Washington east. And we had the 2012 tornado outbreak that was so devastating. The worst tornado outbreak in the history of North Carolina. Killed many people, started down around Sanford and it went all the way up through northeastern North Carolina. But I was the recovery manager for the National American Red Cross during those events. And I had, out of 100 North Carolina counties, I had 68 counties that were presidentially declared disasters.
I think there's a lot of people out there, Keith, this morning that are like me. I had no idea that you had done all of this. I knew you had done a lot.
Yeah.
Especially during Floyd, but I had no idea it was to this magnitude.
Yeah, and you know, people, I've had people with the city that see me as a threat, and
but you love your city.
Oh, I love Rocky Mount. Rocky Mountain's been good to me. Is where I was born and raised. Is where I received my education. Rocky Mountain City School Systems. I love it. Oh, I forgot to mention too. Governor Pat McCrory appointed me to serve as a trustee for Nash Community College.
Oh, wow!
And that's a big. Well, I'm not there now. Governor Cooper.
Yeah, of course. Well, of course.
So, yeah, obviously I'm very conservative.
I kind of figured.
I'm very conservative, but that time that I spent, it was one of the greatest boards I've ever worked on, and the time I spent there, you know, primarily what trustees are doing are looking at the financial position.
Sure.
Again, experience.
That's right.
So I'll gladly challenge anybody who wants to challenge me about what's my qualifications. I've prepared many budgets, as Philip knows, in the fire department, working close with Chief Mullen and his administration, and then in mine. But anyway, the experience is there.
Yes.
Why am I doing this? I think that's a very legitimate question, and those out there who are fans of Chief Keith and what I'm doing, and those who want me to go away, I think you need to hear this. I have absolutely no financial incentive to be taking on something as large as the city of Rocky Mount.
Right.
It comes at a great personal cost. People don't realize the stress. I mean, if my wife were up here, she would, oh my gosh, she'd be in tears because she sees what I go through, and it's very stressful. I've been, since the Beth Wood audit years ago, I've been through cancer, chemo, a number of health situations. So I know the stress is not good for me, but nonetheless, this is important. And if not me, who?
I was going to say, we need somebody like you. We've got to have an advocate. We have got to be advocates and have advocates.
And that's something that deals across the board. Like if you're in a hospital situation, you need an advocate in there.
Absolutely.
To sort through some of the things.
Everybody can't just sit back. They just can't.
Push for you to, so in everything that we do, you need an advocate to push.
Absolutely. You've got to have it.
We appreciate it.
And we really do appreciate it.
And I know sometimes you feel like you're all alone in this fight alone, but you got a lot of people in your corner.
We don't want to leave our city. We're not going to leave our city. But somebody, needs to.
It does make me feel good when, every morning when I get up and I power up the phone and take a look, and it's just scores and scores of private messages, people who want to express their appreciation, but there's also a lot of people who provide me information, insider information, if you will.
Yes.
Currently, whether they want to admit it or not, their department heads are telling their people there's a gag order. They don't call it a gag order, but they tell them, city employees, if you go on Facebook or any social media and comment on Rocky Mount's financial, you're fired. Secondly, if you comment on someone's post, like Chief Keith or some of the other people that post, you're fired.
Yeah.
If you one department head said, if you even check the block that you like Chief Keith's post, you're fired.
Oh my gosh.
So this is a true gag order, and so city employees have been getting all kinds of mixed messages One day we're going to fire 27 people. One day we're going to fire 5 people, 10 people. Oh, we hadn't fired anybody. We're thinking about it. We're looking at it. Longevity's gone. Well, no, longevity's still there. No, it is gone. There's no performance pay increases. We're going to freeze promotion. You know, look, since the day that it came out, when the mayor first spoke about this financial crisis, people were just hanging on, hoping to get reliable information.
That's got to be bad.
During the recent budget meeting with wards 1, 2, and 3 in particular, because I'm telling you, I'm just going to tell it like it is. I watched both of them, the 5, 6, and 7. I was not at the one at the church last night, but I did see the 1, 2, 3 wards and the 5, 6, 7 ward meetings, and it was almost like they came from 2 different cities, the approach that was taken. But let me speak to 1, 2, and 3. Very critical of social media, and I'll tell you something. One thing I learned as a high-ranking city official is you can try to ignore social media and not use it to your advantage, but it's going to cost you because it's there. It's here to stay. That's how people get their information.
That's right.
Particularly young people. Young people don't watch TV.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them don't even have TVs in their house. They do it all by this thing right here.
Exactly.
So
that's the reason we stream.
You know, and there's power in it. I sat before you as somebody, you know, that went into retirement and nobody, you know, you didn't hear anything else about Keith Harris. But suddenly when I took on this fight and I went to Raleigh and met with Beth Wood and said something's got to happen, and I got out 3 14-inch binders and laid them on her coffee table in her office, and we went about going through it item by item. 3 hours later, without a single break. I'd never met her before, Madam Auditor, and I sat there and we went through that. Next thing I know,
I knew you went up there. I just didn't
so
know.
So next thing you know, she's here and there's an audit, and
That's right.
She proves that a certain person does not pay their light bills, has not paid their light bills, and claims to have proof, but it's not there, or he's not sharing any proof if there is. But that. Just radical spending by Rochelle Small-Tony. So there was a number of things that came out of that, but that audit fell way short from what I wanted, which was a full, deep forensic audit. I'm hoping now with Auditor Bolacek that his staff, I hear they're here, they're in City Hall. I think he dispatched upon our mayor calling and asking him, please help. Please come to Rocky Mount. So I want people to understand that Sandy Robertson, you know, regardless of what some of these other clowns might tell you, our mayor called and said, we've got a serious problem. I need the auditor here on the ground, boots on the ground.
Well, that's good.
And so I want people to know that. And that's not a campaign statement or anything for Sandy. I'm just telling the brass facts. There are people, again, I go back to that Ward 1, 2, 3 meeting that try to deflect and not take responsibility for anything except they wanted to, you know, oh, we're the senior council people and we are the ones that came out and said something's wrong, and nobody believed us, and our other council members would not take action. You know, again, deflecting, trying to get the blame off of them. But it's classic blame-based problem solving. Something happens, it's not about why did it happen, it's who done it. Before we, you know, we're going to get into the who, but let's find out what has happened and how we got to this desperate position that Rocky Mount's in. But anyway, the auditors are here, and I understand he dispatched his deputy auditor, the deputy state officer.
Yes, that's what I heard, yes.
I don't think Bolacek himself is here. I think he's been here and met with the mayor, but, and I've heard 4 auditors are on the team. If they hear me now, if you know, I've got a long history with Rocky Mount. I understand much of these problems. I've lived it professionally and personally for almost all of my adult life. So this is going to Auditor Bolacek, please, please, please do a thorough forensic audit. And 2 years back is not going to get it. You got to go back to the 2019, 2020, 2021. This is when it really started, and I'll get into some of the details of that. I make myself available to any state or federal officials that want to talk. I have a lot of information about what has happened, who's involved, and I'll be glad to speak to anyone like that, any official that can help Rocky Mount. But I put that plea out if hopefully somebody on his team, or if
Well,
this
we
is,
can certainly send this to Dave Bolick. He's
Please.
been on TV here.
Okay.
We can certainly send this program
Please
to
do.
him. He's very, open to things like this. So
my greatest
You can
fear
certainly
is
do
that,
that.
and I think the greatest fear of much of the population in Rocky Mount is this auditor is going to come in and they're going to do sort of like what Beth Wood did when she came, and which is a very specific audit looking at some specific things, and it's not getting at the whole root problem of what's going on in Rocky Mount. And I'm just hoping and praying that he doesn't come in, there's a short audit, they come out and say, well, y'all had some sloppy accounting work.
Right.
And you hired the wrong people. It looks like y'all have got it in order now, because we do have a good finance director now. I've got a lot of respect for the credentials of Cheryl
yeah, I
Snyder.
read those, and I
Yeah.
said,
And
this is really
her
good.
background with that, that's
she's
Wow.
got some good credentials. You're exactly right.
She's a godsend, and I
Yes,
think
we
Elton,
needed it.
City Manager Elton Daniels was responsible for her hire.
Elton is.
Yes, he's
Thumbs
hired
up.
some pretty good
impressed me.
people in the city. He's
Thumbs
brought
up.
some back that were good, and we lost.
Yes.
He hires, I think, qualified people. He's
Yes.
not hiring based on
Yes.
race, gender, or anything else. He hires on qualifications.
He looked at people
And
that were
you're
good
right.
before and has, we've lost, and I wish he would have.
Keith, I mean, they've got to peel it back to Rochelle Small-Tony days, because she gave away, she had the checkbook, and she gave away money for grants like it was like candy at Christmas.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
I looked at a list of people that
But-
I got, that grandma's house and
Yeah.
East End Baptist
But
Church.
why was she hired? Look at the Savannah,
That
look at the Virginia, look at the,
Well,
What
I
in
know
the
why
world?
I know why she was hired.
yeah.
The event center
Yeah.
was a big.
Well, that was part of it, but it fit a profile of what they wanted, and I do believe, it is my opinion, and I make that point, this is my opinion, but I do believe, and I've had a source in Savannah that has given me some very specific information relative to Miss Small Tony and her time at Savannah, but I do believe that she was personally recruited by a certain two council members
Right.
that we all know. Why? She fits the mold. She was loose with the money. The very grants like you're talking about, where she was handing out these grants, 100,000, 75, 50,000,
Yeah.
25,000, multiple 100,000s. She's giving it to churches.
No proper vetting
Right.
at all.
No proper
She
vetting.
would do what they wanted.
So, exactly. She would do what they wanted. She would get rid of the people that they didn't want there. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, because that is where it really all began.
Right.
So I'm going to get there in just a moment. But she would literally just pass out grants to entities with no performance expectations, no deadlines, no budget of what they were going to do. See, the thing about grants, and again, I've had to manage millions of dollars of grants for the city. There are performance measures. If you don't do what you say you're going to do with that $100,000 or $100 million, then there has to be accountability. You may lose that grant and future grants if it's not managed properly. But if you're just handing out monies and calling it a grant, some of these nonprofits that she gave money to, they no longer exist. We can't even find them. So where did the 100,000? Where's Grandma's house? I hate to pick on that one, but it's just so upsetting.
Who's grandma?
Yeah, here's a good take home for the viewers. There's a website called GuideStar. So GUIDESTAR.com, guidestar.com. And what you can do is go on there and you can search by the name of nonprofits. And there are nonprofits all over the United States. And more importantly, you can go a little bit deeper and you can open up their IRS Form 990. And that provides their corporation, how they're structured, who are the board members. That's a biggie.
Right.
It also shows the salaries of their management team, and that's an eye-opening experience.
Wow.
If I would encourage you to go in there, do a search for OIC,
I will do
and
that.
bring up the IRS 990 and take a look at it. But how we got to that is we were talking about these grants and these various entities that she was handing out money to, and some of them, I can't find them anymore. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they did with the money. I mean, it's
Well, that's our
absolutely
biggest
maddening.
question. That's what I asked the mayor when he came last Monday. Where's the money?
Now, one of my posts, I said, buyer beware. Be careful what they tell you. Now, these guys have a history of deception and intimidation, I should say. They really dislike me because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid I can't be pushed around.
But they dislike the truth.
Yeah. I want someone to try to disengage me from this project. Philip knows me. I'm that kind of guy. I'm not one to be messed with. But anyway, they have a standard playbook. Number one, when the proverbial you-know-what hits the fan, first thing we do is we adamantly deny any wrongdoing. We're not involved. Everything we did was kosher. We're above the board. We're fine. Everything. In the words of Reuben Blackwell, he uses this. He did it back. He don't realize, but I hang on every word because it's almost verbatim to what was said early on in the Beth Wood audit. Here it is. We are not afraid. And then Andre will chime in, yes, we are not afraid. Reuben, we are not afraid. We are not afraid. What do you have to be afraid of? I'm not afraid either. I mean, but you're coming out the gate. There's a state entity here trying to help the city of Rocky Mount get its books right, trying to help the citizens of Rocky Mount. And your first response, one of the earliest responses you made in that budget review meeting this week was, I'm not afraid. Well, good. I'm glad. I don't want you to be afraid. I just want you to be held accountable. So again, a 3-step playbook. Number one is just deny anything is happening.
Well, when they say we're not afraid, to me, that's a little defensive from the get-go.
Well, I mean, it raises.
That's defensive from the get-go.
Yeah, the auditors are here. Well, I'm not afraid. We had an audit. We audited OI. You know, he was saying that the other night. And this is a city budget meeting, and he's telling the audience that, well, the OIC's had an audit, and we passed with flying colors. Nobody's asked you about an audit.
Right.
I mean, if I did, I'd ask you, well, who did you pay to do that audit? You know, was it a federal HUD Inspector General's audit? Was it a thorough Medicaid audit of your entity? That's what I want to hear about. But fine, you had an audit. Thank you. Congratulations. And I'm happy you're not afraid. Secondly, so we're adamantly denying that anything's wrong. Number two is you try to you defend what has been done. So you've denied it. It didn't happen. Nope, it's all lies. These people are, they call me racist. They call me a nationalist. They call me, they said that I was being pushed by a white supremacist group in Rocky Mount. Oh my God. If anybody, and Philip worked for me, but if anybody in the fire department, if you'd ask black firefighters in Rocky Mount, they would tell you, Chief Harris gave me opportunities when no one did. Chief Harris was straight up. Chief Harris was fair. Chief Harris created the first minority recruitment team to send an all-black firefighter team into military bases, the school systems, community colleges, historically black universities. We were going and we were trying to hire and create diversity, and we made tremendous inroads. It was Chief Harris who promoted the first black chief officer in Rocky Mount in 25 years.
Right.
It was Chief Harris to ensure that the all-black fire ladder company, one of the very first organized fire protection groups in the city of Rocky Mount, and they were located on the Douglas block, I made sure that they were there in that museum across from City Hall. I mean, it's important. It's my history too.
Right.
It ain't about black and white, but I
Right.
really take offense to people's, that's their defense.
Oh, yeah.
He's a racist, he's a white supremacist, that's the furthest thing in the world from who Keith Harris is. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna use a statement that I got from Beth Wood, and that is, I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, red, if you steal or misuse the public's monies, I'm going to get you. I'm coming after you. And that's Chief Keith. This is not about race. I'm proud of Rocky Mount. I'm proud of the makeup of Rocky Mount. I'm proud of what we do. I'm proud of that city government, but we have got to stop this crap that's going on. It's not fair. City employees are hurting. They're scared. You want to talk about being scared, Reuben? I have hundreds of Rocky Mount City employees who are in contact with me. They've been told so many different things. They don't know from day one to the next. Are they going to get paid? Is that promotion gone forever? How many are going to be fired, laid off? Will we be eligible for rehire? They don't have answers, and different groups are saying different things, and with every passing day, there's new information that comes
Yeah,
out.
like Lige said in that meeting, it's fluid. It is
It's
fluid.
got to be
Changing every
bad to
day.
work under these conditions
very
every
fluid.
day, not knowing.
So I did my fingers like this to remind me. I got one more. So they deny that anything's happened, and they accept that there's some things that don't look right, so they start defending it. This is why. This is why the city's going to pay $500,000 to renovate the old, to start just to do the contractual architectural work and some of the hazardous remediation around the foundation. But the city of Rocky Mount is going to give them, if they haven't already written a check, they're going to give them $500,000 to get that project started. Well, guess who owned the old Memorial Hospital?
Andre Knight.
Yeah, well,
Or his mom.
he had it in his mama's name.
Well,
It's the same thing.
Everything's always in his
Yeah,
mom's
yeah,
name.
and I could tell you, but why that's done, but I won't go there. Yeah, his mama owned it, which means he owns it, and so.
But all
What
of
they-
our council voted for this, all of them.
Yeah. So this project, and that's just really seed money to get it kicked off. The building is in horrible shape.
Oh,
It's tearing
gosh,
up, and
it is up.
he
It
bought
needs
it
to
for
be
a song.
torn down.
So I don't have the details of what they paid, but very quickly, in order to get this grant and get it moving, Andre then changes ownership over to OIC. So OIC actually owns it now, I'm told, with their names on the deed. I've got some feelers out, and I'm doing some research, but I do believe Andre's mama, which is Andre, passed it over to OIC. So OIC owns the building now. I am told by at least one city official that the projected total project is probably in the neighborhood of $19 million to fix this into a grand clinic and office complex.
Have y'all rode by this building? Do yourself a favor and go to Rose Street today and ride by this
I
building.
went in it over 15,
Oh,
20
gosh.
years ago. Walked in, somebody was looking at doing something else, and it was terrible then.
Yeah.
This was 20 years ago.
Oh, it's horrible.
I want Reuben and Andre to know this. Chief Keith, I was born there in that building.
Oh, right.
So every time y'all
A lot
go
of people
in,
were.
every time you go in that building, I want you to know that
Oh, wow.
I was born there. So just keep that in mind.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, $19 million to redo this building. I don't understand. I see a light going off.
If you want to take a call, we will.
Let-
If you want to finish your
you let
thoughts,
me finish
we'll do
my
that.
thoughts,
Finish your
and
thoughts.
then we'll do it.
We will let you
Call
call
back.
back. Just hang on. Let Chief Keith
Yeah,
finish his thoughts.
I really want to hear your calls, and trust me, I'm not afraid to talk to anybody, but let me lay out what's going on.
Right.
And then we're going to start taking calls. I will not get in a shouting or arguing match. I'm not going to do that.
No, we don't do that here.
Yeah,
we don't do that here. You have to be respectful.
Yeah, hang up if that's
Yes, we will.
Okay, so in addition to that, we've got, the city owns the old Booker T. Washington High School. A lot of history in that building. Obviously, the building needed to be revitalized and needed to be taken care of. I understand that. I support that. But revitalization for the benefit of OIC is different than for historical preservation. So there's 24,500 square feet in that building that's allocated for OIC operations. The city has spent well in excess of $1 million putting new roofs on. They have upgraded the HVAC systems. They just not too long ago the city taxpayers paid $221,000 to put new windows in the area where OIC is located.
Now, this lease has been going on since 1984. Is that correct?
That's what I've been told.
1984 is what I was told.
So they're paying, I'm going to leave the cents off and round down, but they're paying $278 a month for 24,500 square feet of space. And we checked with a couple of real estate firms, and they said, Chief, this building would draw $13 to $15 per square foot per year. So you're talking in north of $330,000 a year is what that building should be generating in rent if it was rented to somebody else. But the citizens of Rocky Mount, whether they realize it or not, has done a great deal to grow the real estate profile for that one particular nonprofit. And there's 2 grants right now on the books. They have 2 program-based grants. They're $100,000 apiece. So those, I'm pretty sure, are going to be executed here shortly. So that's another $200,000 to them. I understand they have somebody told me they had opened a place on Sunset Avenue. It boggles my mind. I mean, Nash, they say the mission is to serve underrepresented and underserved people, but Nash General is steady building. And I mean, I've talked to people at Nash Hospital, UNC Nash Hospital. Yeah, we got plenty of capacity for mammograms. We did, OIC didn't need to buy, $1 million mammography machine. I mean, we got plenty of capabilities to serve the population in Rocky Mountain. By the way, the population in Rocky Mountain is going down. I remember back when I was with the city, another thing I led was a census challenge to make sure that we were not missing a lot of people after the flood. They did a census count in 2000.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and me and some others headed up that effort to make sure that everybody was accounted for. And back then, the population was like 62,400 people. Rocky Mount was growing. Before the flood, there was a lot of positive things, a lot of hiring and businesses opening and stuff. Today, I don't think you could count 52,000 people left in Rocky Mount. So, and we're sitting here with a neighboring city, Wilson, that just seems to be booming.
Oh, wow,
There's
yes.
so much going on over there.
Well, you know what the difference is? It's one word. Leadership.
Leadership, yeah.
Because Grant Goins was a great city manager over the years, just retired.
Yeah, and I knew the previous Bruce Rose, the previous.
Oh, Bruce, oh, yes.
Super guy. He was the fire chief in Wilson, but Bruce
Loved
was
him.
a great mayor. I knew
Absolutely
him,
loved
him very
him.
well.
But speaking of OIC, we've talked about it, that 3 of the sitting council people are board members or involvement in OIC. And also, the person that ran against Sandy last year is involved in OIC.
Yeah, that's,
Came very close
yeah.
to
Yes.
beating him as a mayor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So she'll probably be running again this year.
Yeah,
So
I'm
that could be
expecting.
4 people up there that's got fingers in OIC.
Can we say conflicts of interest? You
Yeah,
know?
spell it.
Now, they're going to tell you, they're going to say, well, thanks to the Lisa Barnes law that she got pushed through, and
Thank goodness we have that.
And got it enacted. 2 minutes, I think he said.
Well, not for the whole, but
Yeah.
we do need to just take a break.
Take a
Quick
break.
break.
Okay,
Yeah.
y'all want to do that now?
Let's do that,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
we'll finish these thoughts.
Got to pay the bills and see our sponsors. So we'll be right back with a live morning
Yes,
show.
we will.
And we will start taking some calls when we come back. We're going to limit those calls to 3 minutes exactly. I'm going to put my stopwatch on it, so we're not going to carry it too long. And again, as Keith said, we're not going to get in a shouting match if someone calls and wants to raise Cain.
That's right.
We'll be right back with a live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet. Be right back. We have with us Chief Keith again. If you're just joining us, we've been on since 8, and we will probably extend on into the 9 o'clock hour for
Yes.
this show because
We can do that.
We want to have Keith air some of the things that WREL did not cover.
We want to get this out on the table so that everybody understands what's going on.
Plus some of the breaking news from last night that WREL brought out. So, if
What
you
does
want,
that
you want,
mean?
You want to start into that, Keith? And
Yeah,
talk
let me
about the breaking-
finish one thing,
Okay,
and that
yeah.
was so when things like this happen, look for the ones that do the following 3 things, rather than just explain what's happened. And we're on it, and we've got the state in here, and we're gonna keep you informed of what's going on. Leave it at that. No, the ones that's got their fingers in it.
Yes.
So here we go. Again, I spoke about deny that anything to just totally deny it. That matters are getting worse. State officials are here. WRL is uncovering new information, et cetera, et cetera. So what do? You go to defend. Defend what you've done. Defend the budget decision. Defend the incompetent people that you put into positions. Defend, defend, defend. And then the last thing of all is, and if I may, so we're denying we did it. We're defending that we did it. And finally, I'll come back to it.
Okay, we'll come back to that. But before you get into that,
Yeah, WRL.
Before I forget this, can I ask you one question?
Please do.
About the fire department.
Yes, please, yes.
The new fire department. Okay, they got a loan, right?
Yes, yes.
You have to present anybody. You buy a car, you buy a house. You have to present numbers to get a loan. They got to know how much money you have, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's-
When they applied for this loan, did they give the correct numbers? How could they? They didn't have the correct numbers.
Well, correct numbers. There's true correct numbers, and then there's numbers that are presented on the financial statements that are provided to the state.
Yeah, you know how it goes when you have to get a new fire station.
Oh,
You
yeah.
of all people.
Oh yeah, it's a large capital improvements. The purchase of fire trucks, the building of stations, and if you get down into the real details of why all this money is gone out of the cash reserves, it's because the decision was made by that the second city manager, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, he elected to pay cash for fire trucks and trash trucks and a number of different things, and he also entered into some contracts that I don't believe the city council signed off on, and he was responsible for a significant drop
Yes.
in the cash reserves that the city have. So I hate leaving something hanging, but I want to really talk about what happened at this last night, breaking news.
Yes,
WRL.
yes.
And this is important, and it's disheartening. It's concerning to me because this was not spoken of, and this should have come out in the budget review meetings. It should have come out in the press releases, what was going to the public. The city employees should be informed of this. But so yesterday and last night, I think there was another budget review meeting at Reverend Walker's church. And Rocky Mount residents, they met with city leaders to discuss how the town planned to get out of this multi-million-dollar crisis. There were a lot of people at the meeting that wanted answers. One of the things that has come out, have been uncovered by WRL, is that in reviewing the city's finances, the city has been spending millions and millions of dollars for stuff that they simply did not have the monies to do so. So completely overspending their budget. We can't do that at home.
No, you can't.
And so that's very concerning. However, what's to me the thing that really jumps off the page, and I'm upset about this and disappointed with the city that I was a part of, the city government I was a part of, the state began sending Rocky Mount what is known as financial performance indicators of concern. So excuse me for looking down at my phone, but some of these terminologies can get quite long. Short for FPICs, FPICs. So the name in itself implies something. It's a performance indicators of concern. And they started sending those to the city in 2022. In 2022, that FPIC told them that they had their budget. The budget was not budget neutral. It was not balanced. They were showing a deficit, and in 2022, that deficit was right at $284,000. So you understand, by state law, a town has to adopt a balanced budget.
Right.
So upon the state, I assume, either all of or a portion of these various entities, the LGC, Local Government Commission, the North Carolina State Treasurer, or the auditor, or a combination of those, but found that they were $284,000 out of balance for the budget. Now, that was 2022. Okay, so we're in 2025. We were told we need to go back 2 years. We overspent when Mr. Rogers was here. During the budget, the Ward 1, 2, and 3 budget meetings, the council members were defending RST in the fact that, if you notice, the fund balance when she was here was $115 million. Well, that's true. She inherited that when she came to Rocky Mount, but she quickly went about spending it.
Right, yes.
But the most concerning thing is what happened to our personnel, the people that we lost. That's the root cause of what's going on here.
Oh, yes.
But continuing on with WRL, in 2023, again, the state sends Rocky Mount an FPIC, a financial performance indicator of concern. And the FPIC said to the city that Rocky Mount's general fund is showing a deficit, and that would make it difficult to support the town's operations. So here we are. This is now moving to 2023, 2024. Again, the state sends another FPIC stating that your legal budget is out of balance. It's showing a negative. So my point is, it's clear that the city knew about this going back to the 21 and 22 budget. They knew years back, we're going in arrears, we're in trouble. Whether it can be attributed to accounting errors or people who didn't know how to do their jobs, or downright deceit, somebody was keeping information from the council. Whatever the reason, somebody should have been asking some very serious questions as far back as 2019, 2022, those years.
Absolutely.
Because
And the citizens knew nothing about this.
So
I think COVID, they threw everything, when COVID came, they pushed everything to the side. And
Well,
was
you know,
the issue.
I don't know if I blame COVID.
yeah, I think COVID
think
is used as a
It
as
is
a
used so
scapegoat.
much, and I don't believe it
for a lot
for
of
1
things.
minute.
Yeah. So this right here is concerning because it shows
It's very concerning.
a pattern of hiding, basically hiding from the public.
Well,
that-
there was,
that we're in serious
didn't
shape.
we have to sign something, a letter from the state?
Each time the city got a financial performance indicator of concern, each time they got one, so in 22, 23, 24, they had to submit a plan, a financial plan that was going to get them back in the positive. And according to the WRL article and what they had on the news last night, the council members and mayor had to sign off on those plans. So,
So we all knew it.
yeah, so to say that, hey, I was surprised as anybody else, no, that don't get it. So let's think about those years, 2019, 2020, 2021, those years, I call them the Rochelle Small Tony years. One of the things that to me is the root cause. I told somebody the other day, I said, it's kind of like having English ivy in your yard and trying to get rid of it.
Yes.
You can cut it off, you can round up it, you can weed eat it, it's going to come right back. You got to get down to the root to kill English ivy. Well, sort of a similar situation here. You've got to get to the root of this problem. Yeah, overspending was an issue. That was an issue, no doubt about it. However, what really happened was Rochelle was brought in with an agenda, and there were certain people that need to go. Why? Because they asked too many questions, because they're not going to be a party to corruption. They're not going to violate state laws.
Yep.
They're going to do the right thing.
Yep.
The first one to leave because the situation was just untenable. I mean, it was a toxic work environment. So Jonathan Boone left. We lost him.
Jonathan was not about to have a part. I know Jonathan.
Oh no,
And
Jonathan.
Amy, no.
I'm getting there. Amy, we had Jonathan, who is a great engineer, and Nash County was fortunate
Yes,
to get him.
they got him.
And secondly, and these people are all friends of mine, people that I work with a lot during
Yeah.
my years at the city. So I'm telling you, they're some of the best there was.
Top notch.
Secondly was Rich Warsinger.
Oh,
my
God.
gracious! Probably the best utilities director in the state of North Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah.
Highly recognized, highly involved at the state and federal levels. Rich was the man. He couldn't take it anymore. I mean, we talked, and he left. This is happening under Rochelle Small
Well, it's like you said, these people were quality people that were not with integrity
Yeah.
and were not going to have a part of anything like this.
No, they got tired of it. And now, finally, and I told you that we're going to get to the root of the problem. Where it really started was they got rid of they got rid of a lot of people, but I'm talking about these key positions. And keep in mind, Rich Warsinger was over the utilities and the gas and what's known now as the enterprise accounts. And Rocky Mountain they way overuse enterprise accounts to try to support the general fund, which the UNC School of Government is one of the things I learned in Chapel Hill was that's a mistake to routinely take from the utility fund to try to firm up your general fund so you can spend more money. The purpose of those utility fund balances is to build a robust electrical distribution system, replace your power poles, have an aggressive tree cutting program to get it off the power lines, replace aging infrastructure, power grid substations, and so on, and not take it and pay writing checks to nonprofits and such. That's not what the enterprise fund is designed to do. But anyway, they did it, and Rich didn't like it, and he spoke about it, and they ran him off. And so now it comes to the third position that I really want to key on, because if she had stayed, none of us would be here. We would
Exactly.
we would not be having this. And that's Amy Staten.
Amy
And what
Staten.
she knew.
And what
knew.
she knew, and she took a lot of that knowledge. She became the finance director for the city of Wilson, and you see how Wilson is prospering and all the good things happening over there. But I knew Amy well. I'd known her before the city. She's a great lady, and again, probably one of the best finance directors. Rocky Mount had some really good people, and they still do. Don't get me wrong, but this is the root cause of the situation we're sitting here. Rochelle Small Tony made the working environment for Amy so toxic, and Amy saw what was going on, and she really, couldn't stop the thing that was going on and the money that was being given away. The very stuff was happening here that happened in Savannah. There was a reason she was basically run out of Savannah.
Oh.
And so Amy made the hard decision of leaving Rocky Mount. She loved Rocky Mount, the city of Rocky Mount. She was doing an outstanding job, but she left. And when Amy left, they were throwing various people at that position in quote unquote interim capacities, and this is arguably the most important department head in local government is the finance director.
Oh, you better believe it.
And had Amy been here in that position, none of us would be here talking
Well,
about
we
this.
didn't get in that shape when she was here.
No. We
Ever.
No.
Ever.
No, we didn't, and so you've got to, as I watched the Ward 1, 2, and 3 budget meeting, and I watched Ruben and Andre defending RST, and that the problems didn't really start there. That's a lie.
Oh.
That's a lie. That's a great big lie. The problem started when y'all run Amy Staten, Rich Warsinger, Jonathan Boone, when you started running off people of that quality, and then those people that worked for them, many of them left because of the environment that you created, because of the nepotism, the racism. People couldn't stomach it, and then they weren't going to stay. They had other options. You're talking about really good employees that can go in a lot of different directions. So that, my friends, don't let them fool you. That is when it started. It started as a personnel matter. It came from toxic work environments. And Rochelle Tony Small, started the unchecked spending by giving money away to friends, associates, and family of associates, and doing the bidding of certain council members. And that's where it really started.
Jade Lobster.
Yeah.
And she paid an absorbent amount to get rid of a Confederate monument. So that was another thing.
Yeah, I could.
You could go on and on.
Let's talk about the monument, and I understood the monument, situation, but the brass facts of the matter is, we talked to the owner of a very large and prominent construction company and crane company. So I'll just leave it. I won't mention his name, but talk to him. Look, sir, you're familiar with the monument, right? Yes. The foundation that it sets upon, the steps going up, all of that. You understand? Yes. What would it take? How much money would it take to remove that monument? Now, this is a local company. This was back then now, and when the monument was taken down. I could do it for $60,000, and not lose money. I could do it for $60,000. Do you know that Rochelle Tony Small issued a purchase order, work order to have that monument removed, and they paid $280,000.
When it could have been done for $60,000.
Yeah, take it down, put it on a truck, and haul it off to an undisclosed location. $280,000. I'm told by people that work inside. There are people in Rocky Mount that give me information, city employees included, that the proper bid process was not performed. by state law. I mean, you just can't do that. And I got to ask the question: who got a part of that $280,000? If let's just say legitimately, if the man says, "I'm not," y'all are pushing me, you want it done in a hurry. I got to have at least 150 grand. Well, the purchase order was issued for $280,000. I don't know. Where did the money go? That's why I'm telling you, you cannot conduct a forensic audit in Rocky Mount and not go back to those years when she was here. Was Keith Rogers part of the problem? Yes, absolutely. He was overspending. He was not making the proper decisions between finance and paying cash money for large capital expenses. And that had a detrimental effect on the fund balance of Rocky Mount. Just as a reminder, and I know y'all have all heard this a lot, when Rochelle took office, she enjoyed a $115 million fund balance. And by fund balance, it's not $115 million in cash in a bag sitting in a safe. This is a small percentage of that is hard cash, but most of it is investments, so that our money's working for us, for the citizens, and growing interest. So this number, the current number, is fluid. It changes daily with the stock market, bond ratings, etc. So she started with 115. Today, when a few days ago when this first broke, they told us there was 16 million in the cash reserves. They're now saying there's 20 million in the cash reserves. That's the last number that I've heard. So what does that mean? Well, the cash reserves also include funds that are locked down for specific projects. So let's say the state, and this is hypothetical, the state of North Carolina issues Rocky Mount a grant for $10,000 to do water and sewer improvements. Well, that money goes in the fund balance, but it's restricted, so it's got to be spent for that specific project.
It's more or less encumbered.
It is encumbered, exactly. So the unencumbered amount is roughly the equivalent to a month and a half of the city's total payroll. So in the bank, as of, I'm not sure what the exact number is this morning, but in the bank we've got roughly enough money to pay people for another month and a half. So there will be revenues coming in, so the situation can change. The mayor said it best.
You've talked a lot.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. That and sinuses too, but it's a scary situation, and I'm not trying to be a fear mongrel. I'm trying to report what is being put out, trying to report what WRL is saying, and we're all anxiously awaiting this audit results.
Yes.
I'm told the mayor said initially maybe 4 months. So it's not this is a line by line, very detailed. And some of it depends on how cooperative the city is, in getting the information to the auditors. So, but we're all anxiously awaiting to see the details. Will there be people going to jail, or will there be people convicted of some sort of fraud? I don't know. People ask me that every day, and I have not a clue.
Well, if they need to go to jail, we hope they will.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this, and we will take calls.
Yeah, just a few minutes we'll start taking some calls.
Did I hear right? The other night, I was watching the 5, 6, 7, whatever, the other night,
4, 5, 6.
Lige, Tom, and Jabaris meeting.
Yes.
Okay, did I hear correctly that they spend about $20 million a month? That's what it cost, about $20 million a month. Did you hear that? Is that what you heard, Philip?
Yeah.
That sounds about correct.
Okay, if that's the case, we only have $20 million.
Yeah.
That lasts 1 month?
Yeah, part of that is debt service. You got to pay your bills eventually.
Yeah.
And I don't know we have time to elaborate on that, but remember I just said you got to pay your bills eventually. So.
Well, who authorized all this all this money, okay, who authorizes spending?
Well, there are numbers that are set by both city policy and then there's state law that comes into play. But
Who's the gatekeeper?
Yeah, the small purchases are handled at the department level by the department head. So, we're talking, $50, $75, $100 spent, those types of things. You don't need to be running back and forth to the city council for stuff of that nature. When you're making purchases above a set amount, then the department head or the department superintendent, they initiate it. They create the request, a requisition, if
Right.
you will, and that goes to the finance department. So ultimately, your finance director is going to be signing off on it. So that's where
Okay.
Amy would have been
Right.
if she'd have stayed. So they sign off on it. If they're very large capital projects,
Like
So
a
they-
fire truck purchase?
oh yeah, well certainly, and they're going to. All right, so from the budget work, they create a capital improvements plan, and basically all that is it's kind of like a wish list and a kind of a placeholder for different things: fire trucks, police cars, trash trucks, et cetera, water sewer improvements, different things, and they're trying to move the debt so that they can afford to purchase these big ticket items. Now this is decided during the budget reviews, and it's fluid. We use that word a lot, but the capital improvement plan changes from year to year. I've had people ask me on Facebook, is it true that Rocky Mountain has already bought 3 more trucks and they're being built? No. What somebody posted the CIP for the police and fire departments, and people looking at it, they've misinterpreted the fact that, well, we've got 3 more trucks and we just built a station. No, that's not necessarily true. The CIP is a 5-year plan, financial plan. So anyway, to make those large purchases, it goes to the city manager, and then the city manager, based on relative to the size of the contract that he's issuing or the work that he's asking for or the equipment he's purchasing, then the council's got to vote on it. And so
it does go to the council
It goes
at
to
a
the
certain level, at a certain plateau.
yeah, it does. It does, absolutely. And so
So they
go back
knew
and
we were paying cash for all this stuff.
yeah.
What they got, I guess they got better deals if it was a cash deal
Yeah, you
rather
do.
than
Yeah,
financing.
yeah. There's some breaks that you get.
But if you don't have
sometimes-
the money,
yeah, well, see, the recommendation. Some say this is a law, and some say it's a recommendation, but it's a very firm recommendation that you carry 8%, a minimum of 8% fund balance to your overall budget. So 8% of what, $280, $280 million budget. So that's how much cash you should have on hand or at least invested, money that's available.
yes, yes.
8%.
It's to protect us.
Yeah.
The city has set 10% as their policy.
Exactly, and the city manager, Elton Daniels, made that clear the other night, and I really enjoyed listening to his comments because he was very clear, he was very
Yes.
articulate.
He was.
I've not had really any dealings with Elton since he came to Rocky Mount, but I'm gonna
He's
look,
impressed me.
I'm just going to put the kudos where it needs to be. He impressed Chief Keefe in those budget meetings.
Right.
Now, conversely, in that 1, 2, 3 ward meeting, I got exactly what we always get, and the other, my memory had failed me earlier, and I've talked about the final D is you deflect. So, and they do this. This is their method of operation. If you'll watch, you're going to remember Chief Keefe told you this. But first, they deny anything's ever happened. It's all a lie, conspiracy, etc. Secondly, oh no, I can't deny it any longer. The proof's out. WRL's here, so we're going to start defending. This is how it happened. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do it, and it wasn't the lady that we put into office, that we went to Savannah and recruited. It wasn't us. We didn't do that. And then the third one is you deflect. So we've tried to deny it, didn't work. We've tried to defend it, didn't work. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try to deflect And that's what a lot of was going on at the 123 ward meeting is Reuben and Andre and a little bit of Richard Joyner was trying to place the blame on the rest of the council. We talked about it. We knew it. We knew there was things that were not right, and we knew it was Keith Rogers. Keith Rogers. And no mention of RST. It's Keith Rogers. He's the one that did all this, and we tried to tell y'all, and y'all didn't believe us, and so deflect the blame on somebody else. Deny it, defend it, and then deflect to try to get the heat off of you. Put it on somebody else.
It reminds me of former city manager Bill Batchelor. I remember he telling me in a supervisor's meeting one time when I first became a supervisor, went in fire prevention behind you. And he said when he first started, there was 3 envelopes in his top drawer, labeled 1, 2, 3. And it said, a letter said, in times of crisis, open these envelopes in succession. So first trouble came, he opened number 1. It said, blame it on the previous administration.
There you go.
That's good. So you blame it, you deflect, you blame it. So the next crisis comes up, he opens up number 2. It says, reorganize. So you start reorganizing, moving people around. In the next crisis that came up, he said he opened up number 3. It said, prepare 3 more envelopes.
That is
for the
funny.
next man.
That is funny.
So you have to understand that it can only go so far. Y'all want to start?
Let's take a call. Let's take a call.
Now, we will limit calls to 3 minutes, and what we'll do is after your 3 minutes, we'll come back and let Keith
Yes.
talk about it. Good morning. You're on the air.
Earlier, you made a reference to the Lisa Barnes law. Could you explain what that is?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Okay, we appreciate it. That's your only question?
Yeah, and does it look like Nash County? That's like Nashville. Do I have? Well,
You were cutting up a lot. I understand
He
you're
is
in
a
town in
Nashville
Nashville.
resident. He's been calling in.
Several
He's a
people
Nashville
have said
resident. He
Nashville's
wants to know why Nashville residents
having
have to pay for this.
Yeah, we're going to address that for
That's
you.
a
I'm
good
going to cut you off,
question.
and then we'll. He already hung up, but yeah, Lisa Barnes.
We got
Okay.
you.
Yeah,
We got
and
you.
I apologize for being so informal, but
it is fine.
I don't recall the actual bill number, but I do know what it says, and this is not verbatim, but you can look it up. Once the whole corruption thing, and Andre not paying his light bills, all that stuff, and Beth Wood's audit came about.
He got proof like she did.
Yeah. He got proof like she do, which nobody's ever seen.
Yeah.
But anyway, there were several in this area who felt the need to have an self-dealing, anti-corruption bill in place for local government. Such laws seem to exist for elected officials at state and federal levels, fine. But for local government, we were told, you're really the only alternative. I mean, and Beth Wood told me this, really your only alternative is to vote him out of office, vote these people out of office. Well, I can't, we don't control who you're going to vote for.
That's right.
I can tell you what's going on and who's to blame and corruption here and there and self-dealings and all day long. But if you don't believe me or if you don't care, then a lot of times people just continue to vote the same way they have for the last 10 elections. But anyway, the so-called Lisa Barnes law, it was a law that was drafted by Lisa and introduced and co-sponsored, and it passed the reviews and it was enacted into law. A little surprised that it did so because there was Roy Cooper as the governor and Josh Stein as the attorney general at that time, but nonetheless the law passed, and we were very thankful for that. And basically what it says is you cannot legislate, cast votes for stuff that has a direct financial impact on you, that you can benefit personally from.
Right.
So that's one aspect.
You have to recuse yourself if you're
Exactly.
involved in the situation.
And And Andre and Ruben, they've realized that. Andre has recused himself on several votes, primarily because he owns so much property around. So sooner or later, it's going to be a matter that affects Andre directly. So he will recuse himself. Now, one of the things apparently either they didn't read or they have forgot about that bill, or maybe they're just ignoring it. But trust me, I've not forgotten it. But part of that bill says not only can you not vote for that legislation, but you can't openly lobby for that legislation. You can't openly talk about it. You can't have private meetings to discuss things relative to this. If you are subject to financial gain based on a legislative action by that council, not only are you recusing yourself from voting, you got to stay out of it. You got to stay out of it and let the council decide what's best for the citizens of Rocky Mount. So that's what I very informally call the Lisa Barnes law, but I'm giving Lisa credit for trying to help Rocky Mount in very tough times.
Yes, and also that law will allow us now to, the auditor had Beth Wood, her hands were tied. She could not bring up any charges for that light bill not being paid. She couldn't do that. Now you can.
Yeah, if it's financial malfeasance.
Yes, you can charge.
But there is a statute of limitations on it, right? I think 5 years?
Yes, something like that, I think.
I think it is,
But
yeah.
yes, so that bill is just a godsend for us.
Yeah, she also told me, it's not specific to that bill, but she has told me before, I would ask, well, what about an account? You know, we tend to talk about council members, and we talk about a mayor, and we talk about department heads, and that's about where the conversation generally stops. When people are placing the blame game, playing the blame game, or they're trying to figure out who's at fault. So sometimes the conversation gets around to, let's say, an accounting employee, you know, a support person that's working in the city. I always contended with the light bill fiasco that it was common knowledge that there was a do not disconnect list, and it may still exist, but there was a list of addresses and names. It was well known by the utility billing department. It was known by the city manager's office. It was a do not disconnect list, and how you got on that list, I don't know, but Andre Knight's name and his properties were on that list. Don't turn his power off. But there's a lot of people. Understand that every year over the last 10, 15 years, and I assume, I don't have any reason to believe they're still not doing it, but they're writing off $1 million of unpaid utilities. So just writing it off. So Philip, if you don't pay your light bill, what's going to happen?
Well, first of all, they're going to get cut off.
Yeah, what's going to happen to you?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, and I don't know what you got to do to get on this no disconnect list. I'm not, and I don't understand how you just, with the stroke of a pen, you just write off $1 million
And
in
some of
debt.
these might be commercial properties.
Sure.
When they close up and they move
Yeah.
their stuff out of town, I mean, they leave their
Absolutely.
debt.
Or file bankruptcy.
Yeah. And that can be a big number.
Yeah, it can be a big number,
Well,
but
we are counting, Keith, on Dave Bullock's office
yes.
to do their job. I firmly believe they will, thoroughly. I do know that there is someone who is giving them some history to help them out directly to the auditor, Dave Bullock, and he will talk to his people. But they're giving him direct information. They do not work for the city. They do not work for the city. But they are trying to help us because they know some history. You know a lot of history. We've got to count on these people to get us out of this mess. Because I'm counting on that audit. I'm really, really counting on that audit.
Yeah, and you know, he's a fairly new auditor. I had the opportunity to meet him at the Republican convention, and he, very nice gentleman, very
He's very
straightforward.
smart.
He's very smart. And
He was an attorney.
yeah. His comments to me indicate that he's a real bulldog. He's not.
Yes, he don't put up with it.
He's not
I don't
gonna
think
put up
he's
with
going to put up with it. Mm-mm.
And, you know, I think Beth Wood was much the same way.
Yes, I think so.
It was unfortunate she got caught up in the mess that she did. But,
Yeah.
but to speak of what she did professionally in the audits that she conducted, she was tough. She told me she
Yeah.
did
was a
not
bulldog.
care. She did not care what color you were. She didn't care whether you were a Democrat or Republican. She didn't care about any of that. She
Right.
said, she told me, she said, I will put your butt in jail if you misuse this public's money. And that's the kind of attitude our auditors need to have.
That's right.
Speaking of spending money, and Philip alluded to this a little bit, and I touched on it. I was talking about Grandma's House as one of the so-called LLCs that receive money. But here's a list of some of them, and just see how this sets with you this morning. Hopefully, you've already had your eggs and your stomach has settled a little bit, because this is not pleasant to read. Hillsdale Neighborhood Association, $50,000. Around the Y Community Organization, $100,000. Truth Tabernacle Ministries, $40,000. Berkshire Acres Community Association, $150,000. Peacemakers of North Carolina, $25,000. Big Wolf Enterprises, not sure what that is, $75,000. Triple C Properties, $25,000. East End Baptist Church, $100,000. Grandma's House we talked about, and I think I said $100,000. Actually, Grandma's House received $175,000, and
What?
I can't find any. I can't find any record of who they are, where they are, or if they even exist. Ripple Effect, $25,000. Bland Premier Properties, that almost sounds like an investment group, $40,000. So,
Two of the ones on there that really should get more, Peacemakers and Ripple Effect.
Yeah,
Two
exactly.
Yeah,
legitimate
those two organizations do really
And they only
good
got
things. We know who they
25,000.
are.
Yeah.
We know they do good things.
the thing,
But-
Amazing.
and I love nonprofits, and I've worked with nonprofits, and some of
Absolutely.
the, probably one of the biggest, well, two of the biggest is the American Red Cross and United Way. But this selective handpicking of certain so-called nonprofits, and the city just handing out money like it's breath mints. This is money that belongs to the taxpayers of this great city, or once great city, I'm gonna say. I'm sad to say, but this is money that belongs to them. And if you're going to do this, have the common decency to create performance measurements and give a report of how that money was spent.
Exactly.
We have no way of knowing whether this money went in somebody's back pocket and they bought a Lincoln.
We should have a team go out to each site and see their request, their handwritten grant, just like the United
Just
Way.
like the
received
United
There
Way.
ours
has to be.
And investigate and say, stamp it, yes, they're
Yeah,
approved.
there has to be an expectation of a performance report and accountability for every dime you give out for grants.
Yeah.
There has to be an accountability, and I don't think we're doing that. So anyway, well, Chief, thank you.
We got to end at some point.
It can't end
Can you
here,
come
though.
back? Can you come back and
Yeah.
be with
As
the show
things
sometime as it
arise.
updates?
Oh, yeah.
We need
Yeah.
to, because the onion is going to be peeled back more and more and more, and if we need to get to more layers, let's do it, as somebody said on the airwaves here so beautifully. But anyway, let's just go as far as we need to go to get this thing figured out, who did what.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to come back, and particularly so we could take more callers. I will, this is an open invitation to private message me if you're, I never, ever divulge the names of
Me either.
anybody
We
that,
have to be that
yeah, if
way.
anybody that, so that's
wanna take
one,
that,
that's
Phil?
one, you want to take
We'll
that?
Yeah,
take
we'll
this
take a
one.
quick call because we do have to.
Good morning.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning. Can I just say thank you from the bottom of my heart? I'm just an ordinary Rocky Mount citizen. Mr. Harris, you are someone who has shined the light upon something that the light probably would have never found its way to. But I would wonder if, looking at it from our standpoint, do we as a citizen have any standing that we can make a formal complaint, or we can group, or we can gather some kind of resources or people together and make some kind of complaint that if we're going to have individuals who don't pay their property tax, we as citizens can group together and say we're not going to pay ours?
Well,
Good question, and we'll take a hit on that and see what you think.
yeah, just personally, because some of that is the risks associated with not paying your property
Yes,
taxes.
you got to
or
pay your
light
own
bill.
bills. Yeah, you got to.
I would not suggest doing that because, unfortunately, you're going to suffer negative consequences, and it'll end up costing you more in the long run. But can you get together, can groups, and absolutely, I mean, the last time I checked, and I think right now this country is as free as it's been in a very long time, and we have the right to assemble, and we have a right to demand change of our government. If there are people of a like mind and want to do so, the thing I would really stress you to do, and that would do the most good, is we need to flood the auditor's tip line. Beth Wood told me that they had 200 calls back when the audit uncovered the light bill fiasco with Andre Knight. But I want it to be 2,000 this time. I mean, the matters are much more serious and,
Right.
and it's gone on long enough. But the thing to do to help, if you want to help, start with the governor. Start with go to the Attorney General, write letters, and by all means contact your legislators, the ones that represent your district, because the state legislation can put pressure on the auditor and other heads of state to take action. And usually, there's a whole lot of truth to the old adage that the squeaking wheel gets the grease.
That's right.
And so make noise with Raleigh. As it stands right now, unless we catch them in a criminal act, the only way we can unseat them is for them to be voted out.
To go vote next Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Early voting's still going on today and tomorrow morning from 8 to 3 at those locations. But we're going to have, Chief Keith, we're going to have you back sometime as the updates come and late breaking news pop out or whatever. If you see something that really needs attention, and give me a call and say, hey, can I come on tomorrow morning with whoever?
Yeah.
We love to have you.
Can I put out
you
one,
go right ahead.
one request, please?
Go ahead.
And I know my wife will appreciate this. And can you imagine, the woman behind the man, and he's taking on something like this that involves this much time and personal
Yes.
risk. It's difficult. So I'd ask for your prayers. Pray for my wife that she has
Absolutely.
the patience and the fortitude to stay with me and support me as we go through this difficult fight. Pray for me. It's stressful. I'm not a young man, and I've been through an awful lot, but I love the city of Rocky Mount. City of Rocky Mount was good to me, and I'll be damned if I'm going to stand by and let these people run it completely into the ground for personal gain. So pray for me, pray for my safety. There's a great deal of personal risk. Somebody, you've seen that in this country.
Yes.
We see it all the time. It may sound far-fetched for a community of this size, but trust me, it isn't. I worked in public safety for 32 years, answering calls, and some things are just not beneath people. And so pray for my safety and the strength of the good woman I have at home. I do have the Lord on my side. I told somebody the other day that the good Lord's got my back, and the devil's got their back. And let's see who wins this battle.
And you know you can change things by voting next week.
And you
can.
know what you can do? There is an unopposed seat. There's an unopposed seat. And you folks can get together and find someone between now and next week. You can do a write-in. It's not too late. You can find a write-in candidate. How about that?
Yeah, that's one way to do it. That's one way to do it.
All right.
We've
Well,
enjoyed
that's all for
having
today,
Keith as a
Philip.
host. Yeah, and we're going to.
Thank you, Chief.
We're going to continue. Sorry for the ones that missed Les Feld.
He's
this
coming on
morning.
now.
So we thank you for being with us again on this Free for All Friday. We appreciate all of our sponsors, and we hope you've enjoyed this time together. Have a great day.